Okay, so I'm just going to first let's start out by pointing out these three examiners' titles. This is Smash, which is a metaphor for my alcoholism and what it did to my life, my recovery. This is about my past, 30 years. That was about getting in trouble as a teenager, going to prison. And this is about our dark reflections, our selfishness. The word selfie is something that is part of our society now. That's totally so it's smashed. I'm sorry, sir, she will not accept your call, and selfie. So I guess I'll start with that. So this is the first time I've ever shown a piece about getting in trouble. It's been something I'm ashamed of, and embarrassment. Just very self-conscious about it. Just thinking about it now. The thing is, I was a student teenager and I made some big mistakes, and I've been going to Manson Youth Institute for almost 3 years in my life. While I was there, that was the first, student, youngster, or whatever, in jail to do a prison art program. And actually, it wasn't really an established program yet. I think that I took Amy, what are the name of those courses that you send away to? Correspondence course. Yeah. So I took a correspondence course. It's been so long. So I took this correspondence course, and I was like the first inmate to be able to have painting supplies, because apparently you can use a paintbrush to stab somebody, or so it took a lot to get that in. I had very good behavior. I learned from it very well. I committed my crimes. And from this whole jail experience, well, actually, I'll talk about some of the images here. These are various images of not only things that I've seen and personality types and what people do. Some people become very withdrawn or become violent. Some people just pass the time with reading or playing chess. People fight. There are maniacs in there. People lose their relationships. Yeah, it's a time for a lot of self-reflection. If you don't make an effort to decide to change the way you're living, you can very easily get caught up in that whole criminal lifestyle. I've just seen too many people that I thought could be decent people just back. And so I never had a desire to go back. Anyway, so that experience is something that is foundational with my character, my personality now. I know I owe karma to society and the world, full of pain it caused. Because I was young, involved in substances and the wrong crowd, and I made a series of stupid choices that resulted in my incarceration at Manson Youth Institute. This part of my past is always something I've kept private, out of guilt and shame for causing chaos and heinous violence. This experience has also been the source of my determination to live a life that paid my karmic debt to the world, to make the world a little bit better place for my happy to be part of it. So that really is something I want to do. I want to make the world a better place. Part of the reason I've been volunteering to run this gallery for 25 years. Let me get paid for it. I'll get the thing off of my rent. It's probably cost me tens of thousands of dollars, and my own, money for paint and producing shows. We do produce a lot of shows, and every show that we produce here now, it's my co-director. Every show that we produce has to go beyond supporting the artists. I love supporting artists, and that's why I do. I always felt supported when I got to show my work out there in the world. It's what helped with me, now returning to jail or that way of life. Stupid mistakes I'm working. Well, I've made a few mistakes, but not like that. So volunteering to be of service is something that I find very important to balance my character, my integrity. And so the way I most directly am familiar with is through art. So So that's my main focus, but through this gallery, which is free to any artists or groups that show here, there's no charge for the space. We volunteer our time. So because we volunteer our time, it's part of our condition that any group or organizer that has an event here has to be a visual art show, and they have to have it open to the public, and they have to support the arts, the artists, and they have to support a local nonprofit charity, so that our paying it forward helps them, their paying it forward helps other artists, as well as another organization who is also spending their time and energy to put more good forth in the world. So it's a nice contiguous use of energy, I think, to keep paying it forward. And Amy's like awesome with her Dog Star Recipe volunteers, and she does all the time. Plus, she has sponsees and recovery. So I'm surrounded by people who are interested in paying it forward and building their character from the shattered past of their alcoholism or their mental illness. I don't know if I have mental illness, but because of some past events, specifically my dad dying and me losing the family property, or just I went through kind of a depression. I think I'm still influenced by it, but yeah, I felt like the alcohol was definitely part of me, shattering that part of my life, and the depression was treated with Xanax, which that was like almost 4 years ago, and I only recently was told by my primary care physician that Xanax, if you take it for more than 4 years, has a 30 to 80% chance of getting Alzheimer's. And serious mental decline. So I need all the faculties that I have. I can't afford to lose any brain cells. So I decided to be off of it. It took like 2 months. Wasn't really a problem because I took it slow. And then replaced that with Zoloft Eve. Now I don't know what the hell Zoloft does, but it's helping me to not be have depression. And so that's where I have drugs in my life. I don't smoke pot or I used to, and I don't do any other drugs. Pretty straight edge. So yeah. So that was about my alcoholism. I'll read that thing. This painting of a broken alcohol bottle symbolizes what I allowed alcohol to do to my life when I was an alcoholic. Booze broke my body, shattered my serenity into insanity, drowned my happiness, destroyed my reliability, compromised my trustworthiness and integrity, and taught me the true experience of uncontrollable addiction and how it can smash away from weaknesses, causing deeply cutting pain to all my alcoholism touched. And thankfully sober now. So, yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm still an alcoholic, but I don't, thank God, I don't have started drinking. That came from staying sober and going to meetings and just basically because I go to at least one a day, sometimes 2 a day. I probably go to maybe 10 to 13, 12 meetings a week. Because I'm exposed, I expose myself to sober friends who are all on this path of trying to uplift their character flaws, their moral compass, their integrity. These are all people who, yeah, they've messed up in their lives, but they're not doing that anymore. They're not continually walking around causing havoc and chaos in people's lives anymore. They're all working their ass off to make their lives better and the people that they touch their lives. And so, I really am happy to be associated with people in recovery because, as far as I know, we're the only ones really working on making themselves in a little better place. My average friends, they're good people, but they do an awful lot of subconscious behavior that's automatic, and they don't even know if it's, hurting people around them. It's okay. I'm not that evolved yet. I'm still working. Anyway, this last one was the selfie. Pretty self-explanatory. It's a fairly simple metaphor, inspired by my classic childhood fascination with children's book stories. This mirror on the wall is a meditation on the self that is a contemporary reflection of our times. Today, our society is obsessed with the self. Do we present what we see, or an obsessed, obscured fantasy version of our desires? It's really fascinating to me that there's things such as filters which only help hide us even more. It's not like we're connecting with our digital audience on social media any more authentically because we put filters on. You know, it's just not another way of obscuring our actual feelings and our actual who we are. And I think authenticity and being honest about who we are is important. I also think speaking about our lives is important, honestly. There's one saying that's honesty without compassion is brutality. So that's saying brutally honest. So yes, I believe you can be honest. Some people use it as a weapon. I try to be conscious of when I'm talking to people, even if there's something that I have to say that's critical to even if there's something I feel I have to say that's like maybe a criticism and a little bit judgy, I try like hell to make sure that I'm saying it with compassion, sandwiching between lots of compliments and love, but hopefully get the honest message across. I try not to destroy people in the process. So done enough of that in my life, and now I'm sober, I'm doing better, and I feel like I'm contributing to the world through my art. Professionally, I work as a mural painter. If you look downtown, I drive straight down Asylum as you leave, going towards 91 South. On the left, you'll see a pretty giant, like 65-foot mural of a freshwater painted turtle, and it's right across this big parking lot. It's across from the Black Ice Alleys, and that one's called "The Oneness of Being in Still Waters," and it's an homage to family property that we used to own and turned into a retreat center. It did not survive COVID, hospitality did very poorly during COVID, and it was time for us to move on from there anyway for a lot of other reasons. But anyway, so that's my homage to that time of my life. It's also a metaphor. The turtle is a metaphor because it's called a painted turtle. So it's a metaphor for me as an artist and how I'm kind of rising up in my spirituality towards the light, growing, and also the city of Hartford is growing its art and culture scene. So it's a metaphor for Hartford as well as myself. There are also painted turtles that live in the pond in Bushnell Park. And really, what the painting is about for me, the mural, turtle being underwater, is when I was a kid and my dad was raging in it. And I was so upset. I would dive underwater and hold my breath as long as I could. And for anybody who's ever gone underwater and held their breath as long as you can, you know that while you're underwater, any kind of like terrible energy like kind of dissipates into the water. There's all these scenes in movies of people going underwater to let out a primordial scream. So the anger, the confusion, the frustration would dissipate into the water and be replaced by a sense of the oneness with the water and close to Mother Nature. And I would just try to stay down there for as long as I could. And by the time I get out of the water and face my dad, I was more centered and balanced. And looking back, part of the reason I painted that is because I realized it was a spiritual experience for me as a kid. I didn't know then, and I know now. So anyway, so hopefully some of that energy is conveyed to the public audience, and they enjoy the peace that it brings them, hopefully. And then there are a few other murals around. There's the Bears Barbecue mural that's across from the Connecticut Convention Center on Arch Street, which was the original Bears before they got huge and went to large location on Front Street. There was a mural at Hartford Public Library. It's an underwater scene of a goldfish tank, a tropical fish tank, and it is the bubbler of Mark Twain. He's like a toy bubbler, and the reason for that is he's a famous author who had a home here in Hartford, and which is supposedly haunted. So in my painting of putting him in there as a bubbler, that's just a portal, so he can go as a spirit from his haunted house to the library and check out and make sure all the kids are reading his books. So, anyway, there's a few other rules around, but yeah, I'm really happy that I can go living with my art. It's a roller coaster. Even as a professional artist, it's still a roller coaster of feast or famine. But I wouldn't have it any other way. Lovely wife here, facilitating other artists, giving a chance to show everybody off, to go to the platform. So it's a great honor, and I'm glad I can do it. Supporting the charities in the process. So thank you very much. Any questions?
When did you paint the prison one? How far is out of prison?
1990.
And how far out of prison were you? Or
Oh, I was in prison.
you were in prison.
Yeah.
Oh,
With Manson Youth Institute, which is a kiddie jail, but it was really good. So, yeah, and all of the depictions are of, actually, we're looking at much more older people. But I think I felt like I was in this, I was taking, adult accountability and responsibility for my actions. I just felt like I was in the world of adults at that point. It was all everyone there was 21, 32. Yeah.
how long did it take you to make that?
From where I was small, I think it was like, a good couple of evenings sitting in my metal bunk bed painting, probably 3 or 4 nights, figuring it out. It was a process piece as well. You talked about how you paint, where you put down color on the canvas and you start to see images that are representation, represent something else, like a favorite or a bird. So I did that with some of these. Like I created abstract shapes of some of it, and then I hold it on. Oops. Sorry. Hold on there. Is that some? This is different. Sorry. Yeah. Okay. Sorry about
I have a
that.
question.
Yes.
So I know I can't send you some more still. So sometimes you don't have a frame, like a piece at the top, really glass. Other times you like to use like a beautiful or a gold frame. What informs your choice? What kind of frame, or whether you're not framing the piece?
Thank you. With the top piece, because it is such a symbol and a metaphor for alcoholism, I just wanted that to be the focus, and I felt the image was contemporary enough that it didn't really need a frame. I like not using a frame quite often. Most of my work is without a frame, but that's only if I finish the color onto the side of the canvas. This is actually wood, which I constructed myself. And yeah, can't really buy something. You have to make it. But anyway, so because I'm also proud of the construction process, I kind of let it speak for itself. These that have frames, there's something psychological about framing artwork that emphasizes the importance that the artist places on it, or that society places on it. We frame something like, oh, well, it must be important. That's an antique, expensive gilded frame. I like the fact that this juxtaposes the dark energy of the prison scene with this facade of gilded beauty, which is sort of like a mask. I've never shown this before, other than back when I created it. But so yeah, this has been hidden underground for 30 plus years, and as I've walked around in life, I didn't project that. I projected nice pretty frame. And then it's a similar concept with this one because it's a mirror. We're looking into it, and there's darkness, there's flying crows and swirling black mass and dark energy. Talking about, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all. It's always us, it's always me. And that's reflected in the gilded frame as well. But really, there is more, like the children's book story, there is more behind a reflection. That's got a lot more going on than we ever really feel safe showing to our friends and the public. You know what? This is our show that's public, and I feel safe showing here. And I'm glad that I had this opportunity to share this stuff. So thanks for listening to my long, drawn out, quick version. Great. Okay.